days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the show. It's time to talk about another training camp battle, this time maybe for the third down back role, as Jeff Wilson Jr. is squaring off against Jamycal Hasty.
This is going to be a huge one, and two guys who have shown the ability to not only run routes, but catch the football out of the backfield and do so at a high level when Jeff Wilson has been healthy. He has been one heck of a running back for the 49ers, especially during that 2019 run, and in 2020 he carried the load when Raheem Mostert went down and did so very well up until he got injured, and then obviously the freak injury in training camp last year. But Cutback crew, let us know right now in the comment section. Hasty, Jeff Wilson Jr., which way you leaning, and then we'll see how you're feeling towards the end of the episode. Spam those comments right now, and then don't forget to like the video as well as subscribe. But Ant, where are you leaning on this Jeff Wilson Jr., Jamycal Hasty, my goodness gracious, camp battle?
Yeah, you got to go with Tim Ryan that stole from you the tasty Hasty.
Son him again.
Yeah, I think that when you're looking at Jeff Wilson Jr., you wouldn't normally think of him as a third down back. You're thinking at a guy that runs with physicality, that's able to get his foot in the ground and go upfield. The vertical run game is something he can handle. And in fact, he's been able to handle everything that Kyle Shanahan's wanted him to do. You want him to run up the middle? He's got it. You want him to run outside with vision? He's got it. You want him to go ahead and get that 1 yard or get into the end zone? He can do that. And then this last year, it was, hey, I want to put you in motion and use you as a battering ram to go ahead and wham and kick out defensive ends and outside edge rushers. Yeah, I can do that as well. He's one of those guys that's able to handle all of that. You throw that on top of the fact that he's a really good pass protector, so he's somebody that could help the 49ers on third down in that area. And then you brought up already that he can catch the ball in the backfield. We've seen him go ahead one play against Arizona, but he catches the ball for a touchdown. That was such a big play in that 2019 season, and that's something that Jeff Wilson Jr. can do. I think that is what kind of separates him a little bit from Jamycal Hasty. I like Hasty. I think he's a really good pass catcher. I think that's something he can handle. At times, he has short spurts where he makes really big run plays. The questions with him has been fumbles. The questions with Jeff Wilson Jr. fumbles. So in that case, it's a little bit of a wash. I just wonder if Jeff Wilson Jr.'s physicality and the way he's able to help on third down in the pass protecting game is going to separate himself from Jamycal Hasty.
That's honestly what it feels like right now. The reality is that on third downs, if you ask me right now, Jeff Wilson Jr., Jamycal Hasty, who's going to get you the yard? I believe it's Jeff Wilson. Even a not healthy Jeff Wilson last year for an entire game was able to do that for the 49ers. You know what I've never seen Jamycal Hasty do? Be that for San Francisco. Be the guy that they can lean on in the run game have success. Hasty hasn't been that. 2020, when there was injuries piling up, they tried to go to Jamycal Hasty for a little bit of time, and there were some flashes and some spurts, but nothing like we've seen out of Jeff Wilson Jr., being able to actually rely on him as a running back, as a lead back in this backfield. He's the closest one to being a lead back of the two, on top of the fact, Ant, that you don't have to use him that way. And like you talked about the expansion of his role this last year, more than just a guy who goes out there and is asked to handle the rock and run the football, but being able to go out there and block in space, be a motion guy, do different things for the offense. Look, you can't ask for more than that. A guy who's selfless and can do a lot of different things within his role and to not complain about it. Because the reality is, if that was something that was a problem for Jeff Wilson wouldn't be back in San Francisco. He wouldn't be here with his team. He'd go find another role, another place for his skill set to be utilized. He doesn't seem to mind. He doesn't seem to care. And this is a guy who's coming off of an injury with his knee and is now going to have a full year recovery. So he's going to look even better than he did this last season and hopefully returning to form. So I think the reality with this battle between the two guys is who's closer to being what you need them to be if there's an injury to go down. I think that's the reality. What it comes down to with Jeff Wilson is just proving he's healthy. Because if he's healthy, I don't think this battle ends up being that close. But if he's not healthy, if he doesn't start off the year healthy, then that door is wide open for a guy like Jamycal Hasty, who Kyle Shanahan has trusted time and time again in this role. I mean, you got to think, he trusted him more than he trusted Trey Sermon. When Elijah Mitchell went down, he trusted Jamycal Hasty more than he trusted Trey Sermon last year. So if push comes to shove and Jeff Wilson elevates and is back to returning to form, Could this position battle actually shift to maybe a Hasty Sermon debate?
Yeah, it could. I mean, it really could. And I think the reason this battle kind of happens the way it does is because both are poised to be third down backs. But you're right. If something happened and where Jamycal Hasty was out playing Trey Sermon or Trey Sermon wasn't living up to expectations, TDP made it so you could move on from Trey Sermon if needed, especially if TDP is going to be that guy. And we've talked about that training camp battle already. So if you haven't caught that one, go watch that one as well. That's a good one. This running back room is interesting, and there's a lot of different battles here and there. Jeff Wilson Jr. has been taking the first team snaps with Elijah Mitchell out. So he's definitely ahead of a TDP, of course, who's a rookie, who's learning the system, and ahead of Trey Sermon, who's coming into his second year. Where Jamycal Hasty fits is really simple. He's the third down back. So if he doesn't make this team, it's because somebody else has slid into that role. It could be some that it's Elijah Mitchell. It could be some that it's Jeff Wilson Jr. And to be honest, being able to use both of those guys in that manner might be a better situation than having Jamycal Hasty on the field, because Jamycal Hasty is still a liability when it comes to pass blocking.
100%.
He's just not that great at it. I mean, he's not the worst ever, but I think people look at him and see like a Jerick McKinnon type build and style of play. I just don't think the running ability is on that level. No. So Jeff Wilson Jr. to me is a guy that makes sense for that third down role. That would all mean that TDP and Trey Sermon, though, played up to expectations, because if not, and Alex, I see the smirk, I know what you're thinking about Sermon. If Sermon doesn't live up to expectations, it could be Sermon that's out and Jamycal Hasty stays for the mere fact that Kyle Shanahan, like you said, trusted him a little bit more last year.
It's true, but again, that was last season. You can only go based on what you've seen from a guy, what you know about a guy, and then where he's at now.
Yeah.
Where Jamycal Hasty is at now is going to be the key. That's going to be the difference. And look, we saw last year him go in the preseason and run the ball extremely effective in the preseason.
Really, yeah.
He looked like one of the better running backs in game with the football in his hand in the preseason. And we were sitting there going, oh my, Jamycal Hasty has gone from bubble player to make the 49ers roster to this dude is on. He is on the roster. Who would have thunk that? Not many people did. We actually thought there was a good chance we may not see him in San Francisco last year, and he defied the odds. He very well could do the same thing this year. At a shocking turn of events, and he's still on the bubble to make this 53-man roster, because in season he didn't separate himself. But he could put together another preseason performance or better and put himself squarely in the conversation of easily one of the best 4 running backs on this roster. And now you have a tough decision to make if you're this coaching staff. Jamycal Hasty knows how to make this football team. He knows what is expected of him. He has developed as a runner consistently. We went from a guy who we weren't sure could run between the tackles to last year showing flashes and the ability to run between the tackles, not running into the back of his teammates, actually finding open lanes and getting into open space, and busting a couple long touchdown runs in the preseason. It was like, Jamycal Hasty is changing. He's evolving, which is great. He's going to have to continue doing that, though. And you know what, Ann? Maybe that elevation in pass pro, if he can show that this preseason, that may help. The problem is it's not just a willingness with him. It's a size and stature thing as well.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, you're bringing up these moments, and I'm remembering these runs that we saw in the preseason. And it's like, wow, where was this from Jamycal Hasty? And if we're going to get that Jamycal Hasty, then I'm really excited about his potential. The problem is, for every one of those moments, I remember a time where there's a pitch outside and it bounces off his hand and he's chasing the football.
And then getting his ankle rolled up.
Yeah, he gets a sprained ankle. He doesn't get to the football. And those are the type of things that just make me cringe. And the turnovers are something we know Kyle Shanahan ain't going to live with. But also, we have a little bit of the change of the guard, right? Jamycal Hasty could have been a Bobby Turner guy. Now we've got Anthony Lynn, and Anthony Lynn could be wanting to bring in his own guys, and I think he's going to want a more big physical running back. That's kind of what he does. Now, if Jamycal Hasty could fit into a Darren Sproles type role,
or Austin Eckler type role,
yeah, then maybe. I just don't know how many times the 49ers are going to want to use Hasty in those situations and not use Deebo Samuel or not use Elijah Mitchell. I think that there could be some Ray McCloud implications as well. So it could be that Jamycal Hasty's role has been diminished just by the addition of other players as well. So I think he's got an uphill battle to make this team. I think Jeff Wilson Jr. is ahead a little bit for the mere fact that he's a physical runner. He can do everything that Jamycal Hasty does just with a 215-pound body, running like his hair is on fire. I love his ability. He's like top speed from second step. He's just like ready to go, ready to run you over. So I think Jeff Wilson Jr.'s got the heads up. But you're right. Jamycal Hasty knows how he needs to make this roster. He needs to be able to catch the ball in the backfield. That means beating this 49ers linebacker core in practice, and that'll be something fun to watch in training camp.
Oh, you know that's right. And it's going to be a blast to watch in training camp. So TCC, though, let us know what you think down below. Is Jamycal Hasty closer than people think, or is Jeff Wilson Jr. just that far ahead right now? if something were to happen to Elijah Mitchell, you believe Jeff Wilson Jr. may be RB1 for San Francisco. Because if that's what you're thinking, that's a big gap for Jamycal Hasty to climb. Then again, though, Ant, maybe it's someone else that he could end up competing with if Jeff Wilson really solidifies that spot and Jamycal Hasty elevates. We'll see, but let us know what you think down below, Cutback Crew, right now in the comment section. And while you're down there commenting away, don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that notification bell because we got more training camp position battles. We got more videos coming your way. We have more live streams. You don't want to miss any of those right here on the 49ers Cutback.
Yeah, we're on the quest for 3,000 subs, and we're getting really close. So if you haven't subbed already, go ahead and do it. It's going to happen here pretty soon, and help us get there before training camp. And it's going to be a fun time, but we really appreciate all the support.
We really do. We're looking forward to talking with you more, talking more positions, and just talking more 49ers, Ant, because there's tons of things happening in San Francisco land and tons more still to come. But until the next one, Cutback Crew and the faithful, stay safe.
Remember, the right way
is always the 49ers way.